We're at the Kingdom Time Awards, and Big Phil is in the building.
Yes.
It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Good to finally talk in person.
Yes,
you know what I
man.
mean?
Thank you, man.
I think we've known each other for years on the web, but it's good to
Right.
finally sit face to face and chop, man.
Absolutely, man.
Let's start here. How would you describe what you do, man? Introduce yourself to the audience.
Oh man, I think I'm just a guy that just loves God, loves to glorify Him in music. I'm an artist, but I'm a minister, so I try to make both of them work. Everything I do should be, I do my best to make sure that it glorifies God. So with the artistic talent that He's given me, I use it to try to proclaim His name. That's all I won't necessarily say that's all I've known, but when he saved me, I committed to doing that. So man.
That's awesome. You know, I've watched your ministry from a distance, man, for years, and appreciate the consistency and presentation.
Absolutely.
One of the things that always struck me with your ministry was a lot of different people do different things kind of follow a certain trend and a certain kind of follow the current trend. And I always felt like you were off trend, even in the distribution platforms.
Right.
A lot of people, everybody would go, I gotta do this platform, this platform, this platform. You would do your thing on a platform.
Yes.
And then do messaging through email and other things to drive people to a certain place. So I always felt like you had a very deliberate and intentional approach on how you were managing things with your ministry, which I appreciate, man. It seemed very strategic, very intentional. The second thing I would say, man, is I've always enjoyed the joy that comes across when you minister, man. I always feel like there's, Blessed with the Sauce and the different songs you've been doing over the series. What do you call the current series you're doing?
Summer Flows.
The Summer Flow series, man. There's just a presence of joy, man, and it's something about seeing. I'll just say it straight up: men openly worship in the form they worship, and that joy coming across, man. I think it says a lot. What brings that forth for you, man?
I mean, I think sometimes we take ourselves a little too serious, and I try not to. I try not to take myself too serious. I try to say, man, God has given me a platform. He's blessed me, and I'm gonna have fun doing it. I think people find God in me enjoying what I do, as opposed to making it a point to preach through everything I do. I think when you see the fun, the character, musically that comes with it, like you said, the joy, the sense of joy you get, it seems like I'm having fun. I think that's a blessing in itself. So I just try to stay consistent with that. Even with what you said, just me, the way I approached building, like, it was very deliberate, because I believe in relationships. I believe in you being able to, we here today and you say, man, listen, I've watched you from afar, finding it nice to be able to meet you, like that type of connection. Because I think that's what's more important than anything. I think people know that they're always being used by somebody. I think they appreciate a little more when you're at least able to say, man, with that opportunity that you are giving me, or that we're sharing, there's a hug, can I pray with you? There's a let's go eat dinner. There's a if you need to call me, and that type of thing. I think that kind of sets a person at a place where they say, you know what, I respect this guy, man, because he could have just did what he did and gone about his business. I've been there, I've done that, I've tried, I know what it feels like, so I try my best not to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard in your lyrics a few times you make reference to you're either current or were former choir director, music ministry. So is it current or former? Which is
current?
It? Current.
Always it was former and it's current.
It's current.
Yes.
Yeah. So how does that work, man? Because sometimes the one in and of itself can be all consuming.
Absolutely.
And so you seem to be doing a lot with your personal ministry. How those things working together?
Yeah. So I've been singing all my life, and a lot of people don't know that I sing. And I've been a worship leader for 15, almost 20 years. Working for a local church. My church, I've been there, became a man there, love it, it's home. And it's something, trying to balance them. Absolutely. I think what I try to use the same method, that not being so serious. and those people that I lead, those those people that I get before Sunday morning, I understand that that's worship. So there's a little more focus in it per se, because we're reverencing God in a moment that He requires that, in this church setting. So, but at the same time, Monday through Saturday, I'm my joyous self. I'm learning how to balance. I'm learning having conversations with people. I'm not making it, this is not about who can sing better than who. This is not about me being the best singer.
Right.
This is about me doing what God has called me to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
man, since I was 17 years old, man. So I'm coming up on 20 years, man.
You know what's so interesting about it? Because, having been a producer myself, music producer, you watch different things and you try to understand the small nuances that make such a big difference. Right. And I always picked up something in your music. And so when I heard it in the lyrics, I said, okay, now I get it. Because the intentionality of music choir directors, for those who've never been in those roles, but have spent time with folks, is sometimes just the thoughtfulness of, man, how do I move folks from outer court to inner court to Holy of Holies, right? And worshiping. And when I watch sometimes how you construct your songs or a sequence of songs, there seems to be some of that thought process there.
It's definitely. It is very intentional.
Okay.
And it is my desire, as the more and more I continue to put out music, I'm now going to start to show people the more of that side. So, I was just having a conversation with one of my friends and just really asking them to pray with me, pray with my, for my family, because I'm really thinking about, I have been contemplating on, not necessarily really to think about, I actually know I am going to, but just contemplating on how I'm going to make the two cohesive. So God is really giving me a plan. I'll reveal more when the time is right. But I'm definitely moving towards that mark, to where people can understand that they can go hand in hand, not because of the sense of they're two different sounds, but the heart is the same. I'm trying to teach a lesson, and I feel like God is giving me something.
A whole collective, man. That's awesome. So talk about the summer series project you just went through. And what was the thoughts behind it?
What it was just that, I like I said, thinking more so about the worship, and I had all these man, I'm always walking around and just bars and music is just always working. So one day I was just sitting at home and just listening to some old freestyles, and I was just like, man, some of this stuff I have never used. And then I was like, well, let me see if I can put it out. But then I ended up having a conversation with one of my mentors, a good producer of mine, a guy named Mo. He works for my church. He's the sound engineer for the entire church, and he does sound with so many people, from Jars of Clay to Grits, all these guys. So he was like, man, listen, you be overthinking stuff a whole lot sometimes. He was like, no more. He was like, no more overthinking. Let's do something impulse reaction. So I was like, well, I was thinking about dropping some freestyles. He was like, do it. I was like, I'll do one better. I'll write it every week. I'll say, I'm going to pick up beat, I'm going to write it every week, and we're going to do it for 6 weeks. He was like, cool. And the challenge was there because of what I do from a worship leader standpoint. He knows all that I do. I know all that he do. And he just kind of challenged me. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I'm going to have some fun. I say, it's hot. The summer's here. Let's do something.
That's how each video comes on. Like, you're like, hey, it just came to mind, so I wrote it. I'm going to spit it. Let's go.
And I think people enjoy the spontaneity and just like I said, oh, wow. Oh, they're going to feel again.
There you go.
Because
I think it was last week's or the week before. It was like you were out of frame, and you kind of walked into the frame like, oh, we on? Okay. All right. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? So that's awesome, man. So Blessed with the Sauce, that video, who shot that?
That was shot by one of my homeboys named Cameron, man. Shot by Cameron. He goes by Shot by Cameron Productions, and a young kid from Jacksonville, Florida, man, who is just amazing. He's doing a lot of videos right now for up-and-coming hip-hop artists. Like he's done stuff for people like Baby Soldier, some other guys. These are guys that are from a secular form, and He shot one of my nephews. My nephew is a upcoming young artist in the city, and he shot one of my nephew's videos, and I saw him, and I was just like, yo, this kid is dope, but I don't know. I don't think he knows how dope he really is.
Yeah.
So I told him I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna see. Anybody can shoot a sound, but it takes you to shoot a different sound or a different message.
Yeah.
So I said I'm gonna see how he does, and we hooked up, and he linked up.
Who did the storyboard?
Me and him together.
You and him together.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I kind of did the entire storyboard myself. I said, yo, we're talking about sauce, blessed with the sauce. I was like, man, we need a kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I've had these conversations and it just builds up. And I just have this creative mind, man, that I'm starting to just now not overthink it. Impulse reaction. So I was just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And people just like, kitchen, aprons? Nah, that's not hip hop.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it worked out.
I like it a lot, man.
Yeah, it worked out, and
I like it a lot.
His editing game and the way he kind of approached it, it was just dope. So
It all shot in one place, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and the reason I bring it up, a couple reasons. One, it's a good song. It's sonically good. To your point, it's not over preachy, but the message is clear.
Right.
But two, the visuals in the video show community, show the care for kids.
Absolutely.
Almost a double entendre on Blessed with the Sauce, right? In terms of Christ, obviously, but then serving others.
Absolutely.
Giving out the sauce, right? In the kitchen scenes and stuff like that, if that was intended.
Yeah.
And so the thing I would hope artists take away from this is sometimes you can get distracted with thinking you have to have these astronomical budgets to achieve a visual connection.
You can, yeah.
And this was one of the best examples in my mind of shot in one location with a set of folks with maybe one clothing change, maybe.
Yep.
Okay, I think you changed clothes once in that video. Okay. But the concept came across so clearly and so well. So I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for that, man, and commend you guys.
Yeah.
But hopefully for other artists, man, to kind of pick up on it as an example
Absolutely.
of, it was, to me, it was a focus on the storyboard
Right.
and the message and trying to get that across versus, it didn't matter how big the budget was.
Right. I think sometimes when we make videos, we're super over the top with trying to get the point across, and we don't let it naturally flow. And then people, it just becomes, it sometimes may go over people's head.
Yeah.
So like the song says, I'm blessed with the sauce, but then I turn around and say, you can be blessed with the sauce.
Right.
So it's like, I wanted to make sure that people heard the song and make sure that what I'm shooting connects. That's why I'm glad you got the lines about my love for serving people, the children. Like sometimes I think we just maybe overdo it. And when you overdo it, you kind of don't get what you were actually looking for. And I've done that. So it was like, nah, man, I'm just like, man, let's just have fun. Let's just do this. Let's just do that. And that's what we came out with. So.
I mean, what comes across, the message comes across clear, but also the comfort in you growing in your ministry comes across, man. So man, thank you for being here, brother. I want to close with one question. If your fans, your supporters, your Patreon people are watching this and they say, hey, Big Phil, if we could do one thing for you, we'll do it. Tell us what that one thing is. What would you tell them?
To honestly, just to find hope in the one who's the only one that has hope, man. Like Jesus is, like you don't know what real hope is until you've been hopeless. And I think we spend time chasing things, and man, if I could just tell you what lives in me and what's on the inside of me, what makes me thrive, without you having to go through all he is the one, man. I can have all the money, cars, fame, status quo, but the fulfillment comes from people knowing that people's lives will be changed and knowing that when they leave this earth, that they're meeting the true and living God. And I think that's what's more important.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you. Thank you so much, brother.
You already
Pleasure.
know, man. Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you, man.